so welcoming. I've met so many nice people tonight, one of which bought me a shot with fruit in it. So if this speech doesn't make sense, I'm blaming it on that guy, okay? Sorry about that. Most of you look like you're still awake, so that's good. We're in a good spot here. Hopefully I won't be the one to put you to bed. Tonight we're here to celebrate an artist who has redefined what it means to be a musician. Not just in Kentucky, not just in country music, but across the board. Sturgill Simpson isn't just talented, he's one of a kind. Now the music industry has a habit of slapping a label on artists and shoving them into neat little boxes. But Sturgill didn't play that game. He didn't just step outside the box, he threw gas on it. He lit it on fire, he smoked pork on it, and then he left the box behind. And he made his own road. Sturgill saw the rules and he said, yeah, that's not for me. When people expected him to stay in the traditional lane, Sturgill decided to drop an anime soundtrack. So that's what he does. Whether it was the mind-bending fusion of honky-tonk and psychedelia on metamodern sounds, or the soulful, introspective journey of a sailor's guide to Earth, or the raw, back-to-basics brilliance of cutting grass, every project Sturgill delivered wasn't just an album, it was a statement. A statement that genre doesn't matter when the music is honest. For Sturgill, it's not about following a formula. It's about truth. It's about digging deep, telling stories, and finding the sounds that make people feel something real. Sturgill took the old, he took the new, and everything in between, and he made something that's timeless. He's not here for fame or applause. He's here to make music that matters, and that's exactly what he's done. Sturgill reminds us that real artists don't chase trends. They chase something much, much bigger. They chase meaning, they chase connection, and they chase freedom. And in doing so, they give the rest of us permission to live just a little bit more boldly. So tonight, we're not just welcoming Sturgill into the Kentucky Hall of Fame, we're honoring a legacy that's still unfolding. He's an artist who has proven that the only limits in life are the ones we let other people place on us. And I think I speak for everyone here when I say that the music world is better, braver, and more beautiful because Sturgill Simpson dared to stay true to himself. Sturgill, this isn't just a night to look back on everything you've done, it's a night to look ahead at everything still to come. Because with you, we know the story is far from over. You're the kind of artist who keeps us guessing, keeps us inspired, and keeps us believing that music can still surprise us. In a world that likes to play it safe, we need artists like you to remind us that the magic happens when you risk everything and stay true to your gut. So here's to you, brother. Here's to the road you've taken, the music you've made, and the fire that you have lit inside of all of us. It's my honor to be here and to induct you into the Kentucky Hall of Fame. Woo!
I've been very, very fortunate in the last 13, 14 years. A lot of really cool stuff has happened on my journey or my ride, whatever you want to call it. But, I've been fortunate enough to meet, and not only meet, but become friends with a lot of my heroes. Some of them, most of them are gone now, sadly. But this is definitely the most humbling. And, you know, I don't know how to say this. A lot of moments I've found that as they were happening, I wasn't able to process until days or months or sometimes years later. And this one is not lost on me right now. pothead songwriter working at a grocery store. And about 6 or 7 months before that, my wife had said, "Hey, I'm pregnant." So I thought, all right, I left a great job with the railroad that paid me a good salary to be an unemployed pothead songwriter. I must have been out of my mind. So now I got a baby coming. This is probably the last chance I'll get to do this. So when we went in the studio, Miles and a couple other brothers, we didn't go in to make a record. We had a few days off and thought, let's just kill some time. And all I thought we were doing was making some songs. And the songs we recorded changed my life. And it's just been a head down endeavor ever since. And this is pretty special. I was a young kid. When they asked me what I wanted to put in the display case, the first things came to mind were my grandfather Dude's old Gibson J50, which is the guitar I learned to play on, and my other grandfather Orr's mandolin, because the two of them, outside of all the artists that I've listened to in my life, were probably the most impactful two human beings on my musical career. My grandfather Dude listened religiously to Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, Marty Robbins. We'd watch Hee-Haw on the couch. He'd tell me which guys were holding the guitar as a prop, which ones could actually play. Roy Clark, guys like that. My grandfather Orr was a devout bluegrass devotee. He spent his entire widower, retiree years in a motorhome going to bluegrass festivals. I remember when I was not much older than my oldest son. I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade. He was visiting us at home one day, and he came in my room, and he had these cassette tapes. He had this giant brown box of field recordings he made of all these bluegrass festivals. He lived and breathed it, and he was playing like old Stanley Brothers and Hot Rise, and I was too young. My palate wasn't ready to absorb it. And he looked at me and he said, one day it's going to get in you, and it ain't ever going to get out. And then I had an older cousin, Mike. My dad and I would go every Christmas up to his sister's house, my Uncle Wayne. And Mike had one of those old tower stereos with his headphones. And I remember I was in like 5th grade, and he said, "What do you listen to?" And I don't know, it was probably something I'd be embarrassed to tell you right now. And he had this stack of CDs that CDs had been out a year or two. It was like Zeppelin, Cream, Hendrix, and Pink Floyd. And he just set me down on the floor and put the headphones on me and said, "I'll be back in 3 days." And then my father, career state policeman. I was a sensitive, artistic kid. He probably didn't know what to do with me, but he always supported and pushed it, And he took me to see Van Halen and Led Zeppelin when I was in like 4th and 5th grade, and that was it. Well, my life was ruined, but I never had the ambition, I didn't think it was something I wanted. I thought it was a hobby. So I went to the Navy, I worked at the railroad, and then I hit vapor lock with that job about 14 years ago, and I was just like, the Martin came out of the closet, started writing, started singing, started recording. My wife was like, "Hey man, you don't suck at this." So we sold everything and packed up the Bronco and the dog and moved to Nashville. And about 14 years ago, I just kept my head down, stuck to the plan, and I don't know what I'm doing. It got me here, and I'm grateful, so thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. This means everything to me.